Hey guys, it's Michelle Taylor Willis, and thanks again for tuning in to According. Hey guys, it's Michelle Taylor. It's Michelle Taylor Willis back at you, and you're watching According to Michelle. Hey guys, what's up? It's Michelle Taylor Willis, and you're watching another episode of According to Michelle in our space here at Studio House Atlanta. You gotta come check out my girl Sonia Booker. If you are a creative or in production or anything like that, if you want a space where you can actually come and be creative and do all those great things, you make sure you come see Sonia Booker here at Studio House Atlanta, and be sure you tell her the MT Dubs sent you. But until you do that, I got a really good surprise for you today. I'm here with, he doesn't know I'm gonna call him this, but because I'm so good at research, the landlord. That's right, I'm here with the landlord. Actually, I didn't do the research, my intern did, Sierra. She's awesome, so thank you, Sierra. But she gave me some really good talking points, and so I am here with the landlord, none other than Sheldon Williams. What's up, Sheldon?
Not much. I like the introduction.
That's amazing, right?
I appreciate that.
Do you need me to introduce you all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at least can I put you my ringtone? So,
oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, do people still do ringtones anymore, or is that more just like the standard rings?
I think, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
You do
matter?
your own thing, right?
Okay,
It doesn't matter.
okay.
You don't go with the crowd.
Well,
You stand out from the
I mean,
crowd,
you know,
right?
back in the day, you used to get on the TV or the boombox, that's how old I am, and say your message, whatever, and turn it down.
Right.
And then you get done and you turn it right back up and everything. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the music on the voicemail.
Right.
Yeah, people
the
don't do that
90s
anymore,
slow
right?
song and everything.
Right.
You try to get that very white, deep voice
That's
going
exactly
on.
right.
Yeah,
Dang, you
yeah.
went way back.
I did.
You're not that old.
No, but I told you last time we talked, I'm a 90s baby, so I love anything 90s.
That's right, you do, because we had the debate. So for those of you who don't know, Sheldon was on my radio show just about a month and a half ago, and we were talking about 80s and 90s music, and he loves 90s music and hip hop, because we had the discussion, right, between, I think we were off, like we were talking about Kool Moe Dee and stuff, and it was actually the 80s.
It was like 89.
And not the 90s. It was right there.
It was right there.
It was very close.
On the cusp.
But
yeah.
either way, like but you have an old soul.
I do. Well, it's a 90s old soul. I mean, growing up, it's like the 70s is the old soul. So it's now, did that
I think
transition
so.
over to
Pretty sure.
old soul 90s? Okay, all right.
Yeah, pretty sure. But I can tell you what, you're not from Atlanta. Oklahoma City is from where you reign, right?
Yep, Oklahoma City. I was born and raised out there. This is before we had the Thunder, before we had the Hornets via Katrina. So it was really pretty much just college football that was like supreme out there.
Right.
We didn't really have anything else that was like, you know, sport-wise, that was kind of, you know, top of the line like that.
So why didn't you play football?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. Oklahoma's a football state, so of course you had to grow up playing football. But as I got older and taller, they started going after my knees, and I knew my future was going to be in basketball and not football. So
Right.
I kind of transitioned. Plus, it helped me too, because ninth grade back home is junior high.
Yeah.
I got moved up to high school basketball, so I couldn't play junior high football and high school basketball at the same time.
So you were so good, it's
Yeah.
kind of like skipping a grade, right, when you're really smart?
Yeah, I mean, I was the first person in the state of Oklahoma to actually play on the high
That's
school
right,
team.
I
at the
remember
time.
that.
So it was kind of a big deal back then, and at the time I thought I was going to be a 7-footer. I've been the same height since I was in ninth grade, 15 years old, and I thought I was going to be a 7-footer, and obviously I didn't go another inch. So yeah.
So wait a minute, because you're 6'9" now, right?
I'm 6'9" now.
Okay, so you've been 6'9" since you were 15.
Since I was 15, yeah. I used to try to hang on to the basketball goals to try to get an extra inch every day after practice. Didn't work.
You really wanted that 7-foot status?
At least 6'10". At least 6'10". I mean, I thought it'd be cool the guys I looked up to at the time, KG, who was 6'11". I was a big Karl Malone fan, Chris Webber, who was 6'9", 6'10". These guys that I really looked up to that played my position were all that. So I was like, you know what, if I can get that extra inch, I can at least be as good as them one day. That's like my whole mindset, my whole thinking. But obviously that didn't happen, so.
So you had to settle for 6'9".
I had to settle for 6'9".
Hey,
yeah.
it could be worse. I'm like barely 5'3".
Right.
I'm not even 5'3".
Not even 5'3",
so,
yeah. You wear heels.
In heels, it's like, all it does is deceive people.
No?
Because when I show up like in my sneakers, they're like, what are you doing all the way down there? I'm like, yeah, I wear 10-inch heels. It makes me,
Okay.
So you're kind of like a, prodigy almost, right? You were a little older, I guess, but still, to be the first person to be able to accomplish that, and then really that set the stage for your basketball stardom, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I wasn't really thinking of it like that. I mean, I was always the tallest one in my class. I was
Clearly.
Right.
Okay, wait, let me ask you this. What age did your mom stop spanking you?
Spanking? I don't know. I mean, I would say this. It was one time I was like in maybe 5th, 6th grade, and I got.
So you were like 6'3" then?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. And I did get a little testy with my mom, and I don't know what it was, but she had grabbed my shirt and hemmed me up on the wall, and I swear my feet got off the wall. and I was like, you know what? I'm not testing you or Dad again. So yeah. But you know how you are when you're young, you think you know everything. So yeah, that was the last time that I tested that. So.
And so there wasn't even a.
No.
I just imagine like at 15 trying to spank somebody who's 6'9".
Well, my dad's 6'8", so.
Really? How tall is your mom?
Yeah. My mom's 5'10".
Okay, so they're both pretty tall.
Yeah.
Your dad is 6'8"?
Yeah, he's 6'8". But you know, I mean, after I got past 6th grade, the trouble was really downhill from there. So I didn't really get into too much, shenanigans.
Was it, so I know you make the joke about her, him and you up on the wall, but outside of that, I mean, what kept you on the straight and narrow path, do you think?
I mean, my parents, they were both level-headed people, never let me get too high or never, let me get too low. I mean, me and my brother, we were pretty much, we were easy, very even killed. We never really did much. Outside of just, church and sports, we didn't really do too much in Oklahoma. Like I said, this is before thunder, those type of things, whatever. So it wasn't a lot going on outside of football season. And then after that, it's like, all right, well, watch TV, watch the NBA on TV, whatever, case may be. But we didn't really have a lot to do. So we would literally go to school, church, and back home.
And that was it?
Pretty much.
I remember while I was watching Kevin Hart's show not too long ago, and he was basically saying that his mom made him take swimming lessons to keep him out of trouble. Right? And I remember that. I mean, when I first started having kids, older women would say, just keep them in sports, put them in stuff, like keep them busy. You gotta keep boys busy, because if not, they'll find some stuff to get into.
A lot of the wrong stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
But honestly, my dad played basketball, so he wouldn't let me and my brother play basketball until we experienced everything else. So I started off, I played baseball, soccer, football, then basketball. So we played that up until my 9th grade year, and that's when I kind of focused on basketball after that.
Right.
But I agree. I mean, especially with a lot of stuff that wasn't really going on, you can easily get distracted and start doing things that other kids in school are doing, and all of a sudden you're not on the straight and narrow anymore.
Right.
But my dad, being an educator, he always said, and my mom always said that we're going to college. That's whether it be for scholarship or academic scholarship, whatever, you're going to college.
Right.
That was the rule from day one, and that's something that kind of stuck with us. Me and my brother, got to the point where my dad was doing summer schools in the summer. Like I said, he's a teacher. So while we over here hearing everybody else playing in the neighborhood, we're sitting at the table doing arts and crafts, doing history lessons, doing papers, whatever the case may be. And at the time, I didn't understand it, but then it helped me and my brother when we got to Duke, and he went to North Texas. It made things easier for us to prioritize our time, understanding what we need to do to get better in whatever academic field that we was going to.
I remember you saying too, it's funny you mentioned your dad. I remember one time you remarking that one of the things you really appreciated about your dad is that even though he didn't play basketball, he didn't impress that upon you guys, but that he was almost intentional about making sure that that is exactly what you wanted to do by you guys doing all these other sports before and letting you fall into basketball on your own, because so many parents try to live vicariously through the kids, right?
Right. And I really do agree with that. Honestly, it was in the blood anyway, so I mean, I was gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, now, fast forward for all these years, I'm in a situation with my daughter now where both her parents play basketball, and we never pushed that on her. We want her to do it, but we never pushed that on her. So it's kind of like we hoping that it actually takes, but until she figures out what she wants to do, what she actually loves, it's on her. But a lot of kids get pushed early on and then get burned out, and then they don't want to play no more, or that type of thing. So never want to sit there and have a situation where a person is doing it just because somebody else wants them to do it, and not for the love of it.
That's
and
exactly
you can tell it's a big difference between somebody who loves it and somebody who's just good at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something about passion, right, and
Right,
purpose,
right,
and
right.
when that's driving, natural talent is a whole nother level of significance. I think we hit.
Very much, very much.
So you talk about both of your parents a lot, and really, and a lot about your dad too. What do you think is the thing that you've learned from them both that's help you ascend to your level of success or significance?
Well, I mentioned being level grounded, no matter what kind of success comes to your way, still being, even keel and level grounded about that. Having hard work instilled in me and my brother. We knowing that if this is something that we truly love, we actually put the time into doing it. Nowadays kids are not really outside playing basketball in the driveway. These kids got, trainers and, things like that. We didn't have that growing up. So we literally will watch a game and then go outside in the driveway and mimic what we saw Jordan do, or whatever the case may be, whatever. So that's something that we did. Or me and my brother just playing one-on-one all day, all night until the street lights come on. Then my parents like, hey, come in, showers, and go eat dinner, whatever, type thing. So like instilling that and making sure that we always stay on top of it. But we couldn't do none of that stuff until we came home and finished our homework. And if we didn't have homework, my dad said we got to read for an hour.
Yep.
Until read for an hour, then go outside and do what we need to do and have a fun time. But instilling that hard work goes before playing at any time, and understanding that at an early age that's what it is.
Yeah, and there's no deviation from that. And it sounds like you're probably impressing all these things on your daughter.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she's been very easy. A lot of things come easy to her. It's more so when things do come easy to her or to a person, they don't work as hard.
Right.
And that's something that we're trying to instill in her, like, hey, it may be coming easy now, but at some point it's going to be something different. It's going to change a little bit, whatever. Yeah. But granted, she's been great for us. She's able to listen. She's not, a preteen yet, so I know with the teenage years come in, it might be a little bit different and everything, but as of right now, she's been very easy, so I can't complain. She got into 3 of the top schools in South LA.
Wow.
So, I was like, yeah, it's good. But then I was like, oh, I got to pay for all this now. So
that's right.
yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, it's been great that she was able to get into the 3 top schools out there and got a chance to choose what she wanted to go to. And nowadays kids are doing a lot of different things, like experiencing things I never thought about, like coding. I never heard of that growing up, whatever. Like those type things. Whatever. I'm like, she's doing these things. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That just to be able to experience that.
Right.
And a lot of kids don't have that chance to do that.
That's right. Yeah, it's funny, the exposure across all different things, right? Not even just, educational with coding and, all the technology and science, stuff like that, but just, just in life, just social stuff. I mean, social media and YouTube and all of these things that our kids can and likely at some point will be exposed to. It's crazy that and there's a little bit of difference, just a tiny bit of age difference between us, but we didn't have those things, right? I mean, I still laugh at myself. I use a home phone. Yes, we still have a home phone, just because my kids can't have cell phones. Like, I'm not buying you a cell phone. One of them does, but every time I dial like my home phone and the phone, I'm like, dang, I'm actually still calling the home phone. I remember where that's all we had. We had home phones, and there were no cell phones. And if you called, you got the busy signal, right? And I was so excited when call waiting happened, where it's like, oh my gosh, I know somebody else is calling now, I'm not going to talk to them. But I mean, you fast forward to all of this now, it's just, there's so much stuff that kids have available to them. And I think that sometimes it's too much. Like, they don't need all of that. Like, they just need basic, simple lives, go to school, work, come home, do your work, go do whatever you're going to do, come back, eat dinner, go to bed. Like, I just think there's a very simple genuineness about a basic life for kids.
I mean, with the foundation, that's something that I kind of put on the back burner for a lot of years, due to basketball and life and those type things, whatever. So
and traveling all over the world, Europe, and
Well, once I was like, no, stop making excuses to it. You need to actually get back and start doing this. And 2 years ago, I started this foundation, Taylor Willis Foundation, to help empower student athletes and their families to promote, education, sports, and be a community involvement as well, to help these kids out and their families out to whatever else they need to do. Like sometimes a lot of these underserved kids are not having the opportunities to do a lot of things that I was able to do growing up.
Right.
So just kind of giving back to that and helping these kids out. So when I had the chance to do this, I started my first event in Oklahoma City, where I'm from, back at my church, and we had a big event for all these kids to help out. I had a chance to help kids that kids that didn't make the basketball team, kids that wasn't really able to actually stay in school because of grades, or because of kids are helping out with their own families, they're not able to go to school, those type of things. So I had friends of mine who were authors, educators, had some people that, it was robotics and engineering, which I never had growing up. So exposing some of these kids to something they never had in their own school, something they may not like, whatever, but at least have a chance to actually, have that.
Right.
And also tie it in with sports to help these kids are, yes, basketball, whatever sport you want to play is fine, but you can't rely on that. You have to actually have all these different things for life. A lot of the times these kids are thinking like, oh, we see Steph Curry, but yet they don't see all the work that he's done to get to that point, whatever.
Right.
And that's another thing where we live in instant gratification era, where we'll see something and we want it right away. We don't care about the whole long journey to get to that point.
Right.
We just want to have success right now. And a lot of times, these are top 1% of the world that are being on TV, being able to play these sports and everything like that. 99% of these kids are not going to have the chance to do that.
Right.
Understand that if you look and study and help yourself and expose yourself to a lot of the stuff that education has to offer and put yourself into it, the sport's just gravy. It's just extra.
Right.
If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, you still have everything that you need to prepare for life after whatever sport you play.
Right. So it's interesting because, I love what you're doing with the foundation, right? And just giving kids an option to know that there is a connection between education and sports, right? And that the heavy focus on education, but also the opportunity to play basketball and to be groomed and mentored and all that stuff, that you're kind of doing or weaving into the foundation, I think is great. But what's also interesting too is now you have this coaching aspect that you can pull in, right? To go from playing at an elite level, right, professional level, played here in the States and then overseas, but then switching to to coaching, and not just coaching men at the professional level, but coaching men at the G League, right? Which is now, the G League looks different than it did some years back. That's like, you're not too far from the professional level, right? If at the G League. So what was that transition like to go from coaching and taking direction to now giving direction? Yeah,
it's like different. I know once I came back to Atlanta, because I played here back in 06, 08, I made it a point to go ahead and change my foundation from Oklahoma and extend it out to here in Atlanta. And I was fortunate enough to meet a friend of mine that we both were living out in LA, and with the Playbook agency, and we started doing a little bit of things with our stuff here in Atlanta to help these kids out. So with me going to coaching, it kind of added another layer to like, hey, I'm not just saying these things, I played it, and now I'm coaching it, and I have all these information to give you to help you out to understand like this is the path to go to. And now with these kids in the G League, a lot of these kids think they, the best of the best.
Right.
And I'm like, well, there's a reason why you're here in the G League, So listen, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Everybody has a different path, but you sit there and you have to have the work ethic, one, be humble, two. Like if you think you're too good to be in that spot, you already lost half the battle.
Right.
And you have a chance to actually play in a league where a lot of eyes are on you, and on top of that, you right in the backyard. Like now, it's 28 of 30 teams that have a farm team that kind of, lead into the NBA team. So you have one opportunity here in College Park and Atlanta Hawks is playing, what, 10 minutes away downtown? And you sitting here and you have these guys come to your games all the time, so they're watching all the time. You do the things the right way, you're gonna get looked at a lot easier and a lot more than you sitting here trying to do things your own way and then all of a sudden don't get a chance.
Right. Yeah, if you just stay on the straight and narrow, listen to what I'm telling you, like you literally have an opportunity right up the road.
Right.
Is it hard getting them to understand that?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, one, a lot of these guys are in training camp with them, so whether they think they played well or played not, whatever, they didn't play well, it's a lot of emotion. I mean, you're human. That's how it is. I mean, you think you are better than such and such, whatever, or why this person get called up, and why that always happens. That's the human part in you. That's the competitive part in you. But you being able to actually stay true to yourself and true to what you were doing and believe in what you're doing, I do believe that eventually you'll get a shot. I'm not sure when. It may not be when you want it, but at some point you will get that shot. And I think that's the case that a lot of these people that want the shot right now, going back to what I was saying earlier, instant gratification. They want it right then and right now, instead of actually, hey, I paid my dues. And if you look at the NBA now, more than, I'm not sure the percentage, I want to say about 50% of the NBA have played in G League at some point. And it's been crazy. I mean, if you look
so
at
it is truly it's a real feeder source for.
Yeah. I mean, if you even look in the finals, whatever, it was about on both sides, maybe a combine of eight or nine guys that actually played in the G League at some point in their career.
Wow. Well, it's been great sitting here talking to you. You didn't know, well, you're reminding me of when I played basketball. You didn't know I played basketball, right?
I didn't.
Yeah, I played in the LGBA. You might not know about it. It's called the Little Girl Basketball Association. It's like for girls like 3 to 9 years old. I played in that, so I was like killing it. Yeah, I was really good. They wanted me to go like to the pro LGBA, but I started doing gymnastics.
From 9 years old to pro?
Nine was like the professional.
Okay.
That's when you kind of made it. Okay. Because after that, it's not the LGBA, and it's not little girl anymore. Now it's so. That's why you get it. Yeah.
I understand.
I totally made that all up. Clearly, you know that. But it has been great talking to you. It's always a pleasure. And make sure you tell our guests how they can get in touch with you, with your foundation, if they want to volunteer or donate or all that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to volunteer or donate, you can go to SheldonWilliamsFoundation.com. That's Sheldon with an E-N, not an O-N. Also, you can follow me on social media. It's my name, Sheldon Williams, again, with an E-N, not an O-N. I'm on social media, Instagram and also Twitter as well. But the big thing is SheldonWilliamsFoundation.com.
And Skyhawks, do we know yet when the season's gonna?
That's a good question. Right now, the NBA came out as a rumor saying that they want to start up right before Christmas, but they haven't said anything about if the players are going to accept it, because that's only about less than 2 months off for the Heat and the Lakers.
Right.
So
golly.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be acceptable for them, or if guys want to wait until January to play, or I don't know. So once they figure out their part, then the G League will figure out what they're going to do. So it's kind of like, we've been up in the air, just waiting out.
Well, we are here for you. We're super excited. I know College Park is very excited to have the Skyhawks, but to have you on the coaching staff there. And it's great to have you back. I know, you just kind of started your career here in Atlanta and went all around, and now you end up back where you started, right? Usually things come full circle. Yeah. So we're excited to see what you do here with the Skyhawks. Guys, you're watching According to Michelle on the AIB Network. It's Michelle Taylor Willis. Hang tight. We'll be right back. In the hustle of life, sometimes we forget what's important. Sometimes we need to think like children. They understand it's the simple things in life that bring joy. Maybe it's connecting with an old friend and sharing grand stories. Yes, business is important, but it's connection that builds a community. Maybe it's time to catch a movie with a loved one and get reacquainted with what's truly important. This is the spirit of the city of South Fulton, where families experience that more lives here. Hey guys, it's Michelle Taylor Willis with another episode of According to Michelle, and I've got a really good treat for you today. I'm down in Sofu, my favorite place. You guys know I love Sofu, and for those of you who don't know, that stands for South Fulton County, all 8 cities of South Fulton County, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm down here in Sofu, and I am going to introduce you to one of my favorite people, Miss Cookie Smoke, who is the president of the ATL Airport District, and she is all things lovely, almost as lovely as that red shirt that she is wearing, that red blouse that she's wearing. So guys, make sure you give a warm welcome to my guest today, or one of my guests today, Cookie Smoke. Yay, Cookie!
Yay, thank you.
And the crowd goes wild. They can hear that really well. It's going to sound great.
Okay, good.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Actually,
and I'm glad you're here.
I'm so glad I'm here because I came to you.
You did, and that was awesome.
Well, you know, I try to be awesome. It's sometimes it's tough.
Yes.
Right? You know,
Yes.
like being awesome all the time. It's a pull on you, right? It's a lot.
I guess.
A lot of expectations. Well, you should know because you're awesome. I
Not
you
all the
kinda
time.
I think you kind of have a little piece of what that feels like. I'll tell you what is awesome though. We're in like your birth town. We're in College Park. Weren't you
We
born
are.
in College Park?
I was.
Okay.
Actually, I grew up in College Park. Yes, but I was born in Atlanta.
So the hospital you were born in was what?
Was Georgia Baptist.
So what is that now? What hospital is
It's
that now?
now Atlanta Medical Center. Downtown.
you.
Yes.
Right. It
Yes.
looks a little different though when you were born, probably.
Oh, I'm certain. I'm certain. Probably had a fewer buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so here's what's interesting though. How many people can say that they work now in the same place where they grew up? Most people, you know, are born and they grow up and then they go off to college and then, you know, they end up sometimes completely different places. But you have lived, worked, and played pretty much in the same space
Yes.
for the last 29 years.
In
As long as
Sofu.
you've been alive.
Yes.
In Sofu.
In Sofu.
In Sofu.
And I love it.
They didn't call it Sofu though. When
No,
you were there.
you coined that phrase. And I know that.
I absolutely did. I love the fact that you know that.
I do know that.
So tell us about that. I mean, how has College Park changed from when you were here, or from when you were growing up to what it is now?
Well, of course, when I was growing up, you know, Hartsfield, Atlanta International Airport didn't have the Jackson to it.
Right.
Didn't have all the international lift, and it was much smaller airport. And now it's the world's busiest.
I know,
And
isn't
this
it
whole area, I mean, there were a few hotels. It was nothing like it is now. College Park was a sleepy little town until the airport expanded. You know, Old National Highway was where I went to high school at MD Collins, and that whole corridor was just nothing but homes, and it was very residential, not like the busy buzz it is now.
Right.
You know, so the whole development of the airport really changed the face of College Park, I think.
So, go ahead. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
no, I mean, that was it.
So what's interesting is you mentioned Old National, right? And we think about all these different places, these major thoroughfares now, right? Camp
Yeah.
Creek, Old National, Fulton
Yeah.
Industrial, all these different places. And it's funny how, to your point, the airport really has been,
The economic driver.
that's right. That's right.
I mean, it has made this whole area explode. And with that, you know, with the additional airlift comes the additional hotels. And it's just grown exponentially since then. Camp
Right.
Creek Parkway was cow pastures.
right. And it dead ended. Is that right?
Yes.
It dead ended, right? It didn't
Yes.
even
Oh,
go-
it did dead end. But prior, you know, where the marketplace is?
Yeah.
All pastures, horse fields.
Nothing.
Horse pastures. Yeah, nothing.
Did you ride horses over there when you were
No,
a kid?
do I look like I would ride a horse?
Well, guess it depends on who you ask.
No, no, no,
I don't know what some of those wild nights might be like for you, Cookie.
no.
But I mean, but it's crazy because all of this stuff looks so different now. And I'm not from Atlanta, you know, I'm from Florida. But I've seen pictures of even just what it looked like back in the 40s, the 50s, the 80s.
Yeah.
And then now.
Yeah.
So was it just you? Do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I have a sister and a brother, but they were much older.
So you're the baby.
I'm the baby.
So many things make
I'm
sense.
the
now.
baby.
You're a little spoiled brat, aren't you?
Kind of. Maybe.
What do you do when you don't get your way?
I usually get my way.
Oh, well, you know what though?
I'm a
I was
salesperson.
just about to say that's a salesperson in you, right?
That's
a
right.
salesperson in you. When I go back and really look at your history, your professional history, you're a salesperson.
That's
you
exactly
just,
right.
Have parlayed it into different industries, into different titles, and as a leader,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you are in sales. Go ahead. Yeah.
I am in sales, but I'm also I've had a very varied career. I mean, I worked for Delta Airlines for 20 years.
For a long time.
So I remember when the old airport was here and the new airport opened. And we had to move into the new airport from the old airport. So, I mean, I go way back.
You go way back, way back.
Yeah.
But you don't look it, and that's really all that matters.
I feel it sometimes, but, I forgot where I was going with that.
You moved into the new airport.
Yeah, we moved into the new airport. I've worked for hotels. I worked for the Atlanta Airport Hilton. That was my first job out of high school.
In sales?
No, actually, I was the secretary to the director of sales and the 2 sales managers, and that is a definitely great way to learn all the ins and outs of the hotel side of things.
Got you.
But it really it whetted my appetite for hospitality.
Got
so now and then now being in a leadership role, you take pieces of all your experiences and you know what kind of leader you want to be,
right,
based on the people that mentored you or the people you really learned from, both good and bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
So did you see yourself as a salesperson or a leader as a child?
It's really funny. I was always the child that got the talks too much in class. I bet
got
you
that
did too.
Yeah.
I
I
figured.
got straight A's and E in citizenship.
Oh, always had conduct issues, because I was entertaining everybody or
Right.
rounding the troops up. So, I guess it was there from the very beginning.
Did you have a smart mouth too? Like with
No, not really. I wasn't. I was a good child,
Yeah.
but I was definitely somebody that was very gregarious at a young age.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you saw how that actually ended up working for you as a professional, right?
And it's funny because now I say if your child is getting talks too much in class, you might be pretty pleased with that down the road.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It just means they're a little gregarious. Maybe they've got a little sales mentality that they can use somewhere down the road.
That's right.
Certainly
kids
been good to me.
Kids are the best salespeople. Kids and drug addicts are like the best people, the best salespeople in the world.
Yeah,
Like,
you think?
I think so. I feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about it. So, as you were assistant to this sales leadership department, is that kind of where you started thinking, okay, I might be able to get a career going in sales?
Well, I was the secretary and I enjoyed it, but I did such a great job that one of the sales managers that I worked for called me into her office one day and she said, "You're really too good for this job. I'm going to get you an interview with Delta Airlines. You should be working somewhere else where they'll pay you a whole lot more." And seriously, so she...
How awesome though is that?
That's awesome.
We often don't see things in ourselves that other people see.
Correct.
And kudos to the people that take risks on us, right?
Correct. Absolutely. And she took a risk and she set me up with an interview with Delta Airlines, and I spent 20 years with them in sales and had a great career at Delta. And, then that led to the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau, and then to the Orlando Convention and Visitors Bureau, and then here.
Right.
So I've done a little bit of everything in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, and you said that having that job at Hilton
that started
whet your
it all.
appetite
Oh,
for
it
it. You
definitely
knew that
did.
was the place that you were supposed to be.
I remember my first day on the job, everybody came running into the office and they said, "Andy Griffith is sitting in the coffee shop."
The Andy Griffith?
The Andy Griffith. And I said, "What?"
At the Atlanta Hilton?
At the Atlanta Airport Hilton. So I ran out there, of course, because I'm shy. And I said, I have to meet you. I think it's wonderful. And we started talking, and I thought, yeah, this is where I want to be. This
He was
is what
nice
I
to
want
you?
to do. Oh, he was wonderful.
Did you ask him like if you could be a guest on the show? Like,
No.
could you say like, could I just play one of the prisoners?
I'll be Opie's girlfriend. How's that?
Boy, you're like Rob that Crandall, don't you?
No, no, I think Opie and I might be around the same age.
But that's hilarious. But
Yes.
you've met all kinds of like crazy people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't take anything for this industry. This is the best industry to me in the world. I mean, it's different every day. It changes every day, and you never know what you're going to get. And you do meet, I met you. You meet wonderful people all the time, and that's what it's all about.
It is. I would
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
And then to be, because you were in leadership at Delta, right? You were a sales manager there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then, so what drove you to say, all right, I want to go now into the CVB space?
CVBs. Well, because when I was at Delta, I worked in a department called Delta Meeting Network. So we did all of the contracts for the CVBs throughout the country. So I negotiated deals with all the CVBs, and I got to
Right.
know a lot of the players. And I oversaw our hotel lead program, which is a program back then where CVB sent leads to Delta, and we would work on those leads and get business out of it. So, once I started seeing that, I thought, I really think I want to go to work for a CVB. It's kind of the same thing. It's destination selling,
Right.
which is what you do at Delta. You're selling destinations. So,
Kind of like selling dreams,
yes, it really is. It is.
which is really, it's
You're
one
selling
thing-
the buzz, the
right,
fun.
Right. And the thing is that takes a special kind of person, right? Because anybody can sell something you can see,
Yes.
right? But
Right.
to sell an intangible, an
Intangible.
idea, that takes a whole level of creativity and,
Definitely, definitely. And I loved it. I mean, once it got into my bloodstream,
Yeah.
there was no turning back.
you knew that was you.
I knew it, and I loved it, and I can't imagine doing anything else. Actually, if I had it to do all over again, I probably would have started out in the CVBs. It's really, really my cup of tea.
It is.
Yes.
What is the piece that really brings that passion out for you? Why is it your cup of tea, do you think?
I think for me, it's making people look good. So, as a salesperson with a CVB, you're dealing with meeting planners that are planning events in your city. And you can put the finishing touches on their event. You can help them, you can hold their hand and make them look really great. You can be a difference maker. And for me, that's what it is. It's about nurturing. Let's say you were going to plan a meeting at the Georgia International Convention Center.
Which I actually did last year.
Okay, well, I would love for you to say, Cookie, I want you to help me with this. I want to do something over the top. Where can we do a cocktail reception? Things like that. It's putting together all the pieces of the puzzle and making it fit.
Well, it makes sense now because you are, when people talk about you, they talk about you as a giver, and you have a servant leadership mentality, right?
Definitely.
That's apparent. Absolutely. So when you say the thing that you love about your job is making people look good, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because that's what gives you joy, right? Somebody else's joy is your joy.
It is. It is. And something, and to that point, I love working with people that are equally as passionate and don't see their talents.
Yeah.
And I can nurture
You can pull it
them
out.
and I can direct them in ways to make that more visible and
Right.
to, help them achieve their goals.
Just like your boss did with you.
Exactly.
Just like your boss did with you.
Exactly.
Well, so to your point, the fact that you like to create events and these great events and make people look good also makes sense because you've been described as an innovator and an executor at a very high level. And when I read different things about you, that's the consistent piece I see. That, you know, Cookie executes over the top. She exceeds standards. That's what you're known for. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but to hear that kind of ring, you know,
That
for it
rings
to come
really
through,
good.
It rings
I
really
like
good,
that.
right?
Yes.
Because that's what you want to be known
That's
for.
exactly what I want to be. And I want, you know, and the great news is the team that I have here now, they're all the same. They all have that same passion. We don't do anything halfway.
Right.
If we're going to do something, if we're going to make a commitment, we're going to do it all the way.
All the way.
And it's going to be 100% or more.
And I think that's a key piece, right? Because there's so many people. It's like if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Right.
But don't say you're going to do it and then half do it or give me 50% or either do it
Either
and I don't
you're
want to hear
committed-
about it or just say I'm out and that's cool.
right.
We're all good. We're
That's
friends. We
right.
can bow out and be done with it.
That's exactly right.
But I think that is one of the things, and that's why I love this show. Guys, I'm here with Cookie Smoke. We're at the ATL Airport District, and she's the president. We're talking about leadership and being a servant and all wonderful things, Cookie, right? But one of the things I think we're missing in society is that people settle. They settle on themselves. They settle for themselves, and then their expectations are lower. And then that's what ends up, you know, spilling over into society. This attitude of mediocrity.
Yeah.
And
it's not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. And so, but we accept it. And so it's unfortunate, but when you have so many people, or when you come into people that actually do a great job or they do perform at higher levels or exceed standards, it's such a huge deal because most people don't do that.
No.
And that's unfortunate because most people are equipped to be able to do so much more than what they do.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. And it's just, I think it's finding that spot in that person to get them to want to exceed and go further and do more. I mean, you know, when I came up through Delta Airlines, you know, at the time, Delta was a company that you got hired on and you were promoted from within. So if you worked really hard, you could climb the ladder.
Right.
And I can assure you, they could call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, we need for you to come in, and I'd be there. I mean, that was the way it was, you know. And the same thing with this. I mean, you know, the other night, I don't sleep very well often, and I'm in bed watching TV, and my email clicks off, and it's one of my marketing managers, my director of marketing, that sent me an email at 1:30 in the morning, and I responded. And I know it just, she has a small baby, right?
Oh, so
I'm just
You're just
awake and I'm going to answer, you know? So, I mean, if somebody, I tell my team, if you need me, you call me. I don't care what time of day or night. I always gave my cell phones to customers. You know, if customers coming to Atlanta and you want them to see the best of Atlanta, I want them to call me. And I want to be the one to show it to them. You know, I want to be the difference maker, and I want to raise the bar for them because they're not going to get that in every other city.
That's right. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk a little bit about specifically the ATL Airport District, what it is and what you do.
Okay. So we are the Convention and Visitors Bureau for 4 cities, the cities of College Park, East Point, Hapeville, and Union City. And so we are charged with bringing in conventions, meetings, tourism, increasing economic development for those 4 cities by marketing the area as a destination.
Got you.
So, my love for this area and the South Side, again, having grown up here, I spent 20 years with Delta Airlines in this area, and I've raised my kids on the South Side. So this area is near and dear to my heart, and I love it. And I see the golden egg, if you will.
Yep.
And, so it's bringing that passion that I have, and when someone comes, I share that with them. I know where to take them. I know what to show them and get them excited about it.
And it's true, because if you're passionate about something,
It spills over.
It spills over, and you really don't have to work hard at it. You don't have to try.
No,
right? That's
no.
why you should do what you love to do.
If you
should
do what you love,
to do.
you never work a day.
Never work a day in your life.
Never work a day. And I never have. I haven't worked a day in years.
Wow.
Because I do love what I do. I mean, I am so passionate about it, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
So speaking of that, because that's what this area is, and it's built on tourism and conventions and travel and all that. COVID must have been a disaster for.
Oh, well, let's.
I'm thinking just
look,
even in the hotel.
I'm ready to just put the tree up and call 2020 over. Let's put the tree up, call it a year. But we can't. So, COVID was something none of us expected.
Right.
None of us. We were having a banner year. My team was at 95% of their goal in March, and we run fiscal year. So we were going to exceed our goal pretty substantially by the end of June. Well, that was not meant to be.
Right.
What was meant to be was that on March 12th, I called my team in and I said, everyone has their laptops. We're going home. We're going to work from home until this is over with, and we're going to see what the cards are that we get dealt. The hotels, God bless them, they have really they've been drained. I mean, our occupancy levels out here are typically in the high 80s. And the month of March and April, the latter part of the month, it was in the 20s and the teens. And so you can't imagine, because you're sitting back as a person that is a servant leader that wants to make a difference,
right,
with my hands tied because there's nothing that I could do to make a difference.
That's right.
And so, we persevered. We've been booking business, though. We've been booking a lot of business since COVID. We had phone calls during COVID for companies that wanted to do training, and we had to say, we're sorry, but the governor has shut us down. We can't do that, but call us back in a few months.
So there's so many great projects that are coming to this area. What do you think is next for the ATL Airport District that people don't know about, that you can talk about?
For the ATL, well, we're getting a new development right across the street from
West?
6 West.
That's going to be huge.
That is going to be a game changer for this area, majorly. And so.
And that's a live, work, play, right?
Yes, yes, and it's going to be somewhere on the scale of an Atlantic station, if you will, but right across the street from us, and to be able to sell.
You're going to spend all your money over there.
Oh, I probably.
Don't worry, I won't tell your husband.
If there's any good retail, it'll be.
Yeah, it's going to be. But it's secret safe with me. It's just between you and me and the 4 million people.
Well, we'll go shopping.
All the YouTubers. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well.
But yeah, that's exciting. We have several new hotel projects that are coming in out here, right in this area. New Sheraton going in right behind our office building here, and another hotel going in, and a loft going in right up on the hill. So something, the momentum's still there.
Yeah,
and everybody
it's like it stopped
knows.
for just a minute.
It did.
And just a reset.
It did. It's a
now
reset.
Back.
But I'm going to tell you, we are going to recover far faster than a lot of cities because of our proximity to the airport.
Right.
We are, that economic engine across the street there is huge.
Yep.
And all the logistics and all of the business that go in and out of that airport, we're going to get a big piece of all of it.
So is this the last stop for you, or what's next for Cookie?
Oh, I think this probably will be the last stop
Yeah?
for me. I can't imagine going anywhere else. I started this from the ground up.
Wow.
And we've formed a team that is spectacular. And why would I leave a great thing like this? Because I love it. It's my passion.
That's awesome. Well, we don't want you to go anywhere.
No.
So you got to stay. And you
Yeah.
got to stay for me, because who else am I going to come and
That's
play
right.
with?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you got to stay around.
We're going to go shopping.
We are going to go shopping, yes. And we won't tell our husband, right?
Exactly. I mean, I've birthed this child, you know? I mean, seriously. And it's just so awesome to see where we started and where we are now. We're the third largest CVB in the state.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Going to roll with
From the
it.
newest to the third largest.
I mean, and you've got so many great things right here, to your point. The airport, the arena, the GICC,
Oh, it's
you know.
phenomenal.
And the Main Street is amazing. The restaurants that have gone in.
Oh, Main Street.
It's
Well,
crazy.
all the cities. I mean, think about it. We've got Atlanta Metro Studios down in
Yeah.
Union City. We've got the artsy district over in Hapeville. You've got all the shopping in East Point.
Yeah.
It's great.
Everything's
It's
great.
the best
It's
of
so
both
food.
worlds.
It's so
food.
fun and so food.
food.
I just did off the top of my head. I don't even know how I do it. Guys, we're here with Cookie Smoke. It's according to Michelle Taylor Willis. And you know, at the end of every single show, we play a game. So it's time for that game. I'm going to name a structure in a different city, and you tell me the city.
Oh, now what if you stump me?
Then we'll cut it out.
Okay.
You'll kill me. God, we can edit it out, Cookie, for God's sake.
Okay. Do it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a practice round. Okay, this is easy.
good.
All right. So, Skyhawks Arena,
College Park.
College Park. Okay, you get it, right?
I get it.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Oh, this is a tricky one. I won't do that one. Okay. Camp Creek Marketplace.
East Point.
Noodles.
Noodles is in College Park on Main Street.
Okay. The Gathering Place.
That's in East Point, isn't it?
Nope. Ooh, Vince Williams, did you hear that? She got it wrong. Oh, we're not editing that out.
Yes, you
We're
are.
not editing that out. She got it wrong, Mayor Williams. Can you believe
Oh,
it?
wait a minute.
You're
Is the Gathering
precious.
Place that new city,
The new place in
I didn't know they
Union
called it
City.
The Gathering Place. Oh, I love that place.
She's like, that's why I just thought I went and eat and drank all day.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes, that's in Union City.
I didn't know.
It's called the Gathering Place.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
Well, that sits in College Park and Hapeville, and in Clayton County.
There you
and
go.
Fulton County.
That's right.
That's
It's not just Sofu. You got it. You did great. Yay, good job. Somebody else, see, this is how you know she colors outside the lines, because she didn't just stay in Sofu. She had the right answer, even though it
Absolutely.
wasn't just in Sofu. Awesome. Cookie, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. This was awesome.
It was awesome.
You want to tell everybody how they get to ATL Airport District and how did they get to you?
ATL Airport District. Well, we're online at www.ATL Airport District, and we are right here in the Gateway Center, adjacent to the GICC and the office building right across the street.
Awesome.
We'd love all of your business. Come stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants.
And when you do, make sure you tell them Cookie sent me.
That's right.
Maybe they'll give you 1 to 2%
You never know.
discount off of
That's
something.
right. Something.
Cookie Smoke did it. Guys, as always, it's been great sitting here and chatting with you on According to Michelle, where we bring you the best of everything right here in Atlanta. You can always find me here at 5 p.m. on the AIB network every Wednesday. And until next time, see ya. In the hustle of life, sometimes we forget what's important. Sometimes we need to think like children. They understand it's the simple things in life that bring joy. Maybe it's connecting with an old friend and sharing grand stories. Yes, business is important, but it's connection that builds a community. Maybe it's time to catch a movie with a loved one and get reacquainted with what's truly important. This is the spirit of the city of South Fulton, where families experience that more lives here